So what is a solopreneur and why would you want to become one? Since the COVID-19 pandemic, workers have been resigning from their jobs at record-breaking rates. On average, 4 million Americans quit their jobs each month of 2022. The most resignations in U.S. history occurred in 2021 alone. According to a report by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Pew Research Center, most workers who quit their jobs in 2021 resigned due to low pay, lack of advancement opportunities, and feeling disrespected. In short, people were unsatisfied in their work, which was likely highlighted by the pandemic when workers were laid off at alarming rates and people had time to truly reflect on what they valued in life. Research is still being done to see where these workers went instead to meet their financial needs. But I have a hunch. Since the pandemic, the number of digital nomads with traditional jobs has more than tripled. According to Statista, in 2021, the number of independent contractors in the U.S. increased significantly. There are currently 57.3 million people, about 1/6 of the U.S. population, working as freelancers in the gig economy. The gig economy refers to a labor market characterized by the prevalence of short-term contracts or freelance work as opposed to permanent jobs. This data correlates with my hypothesis that the pandemic has significantly contributed to the expansion of the gig economy, in which more and more people are working for themselves instead of as formal employee for larger companies. This is what I refer to as being a solopreneur. A solopreneur is a person who leverages their own talents and skills to financially sustain themselves. They do not live to work, they work to support their own lives and success as they define it. The type of business a solopreneur creates is even smaller than what we would traditionally consider a small business. It's something referred to as a micro-enterprise. A micro-enterprise is a business that is designed to support one person and possibly their family. They do not typically have a full-time or even part-time staff, other than perhaps a few other independent contractors for support, like a virtual assistant. With the spread of the gig economy comes an increased ability for people to work on their own terms, to create the hours and schedules they desire, to work with clients that bring financial and social benefit to their lives. In short, being a solopreneur provides the freedom to live life on your own terms instead of the terms of the company you work for. Sounds nice, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to define their own income goals? Work to achieve those goals instead of waiting for advancement opportunities and playing office politics, to live a life of their own design, wherever they choose to live. The big question that remains for many is how? The idea of being responsible for your own income can sound both exciting and scary. There is a sense of security that comes from having guaranteed work and a paycheck. As we can see with the layoffs that accompany recessions and pandemics, as well as the ongoing layoffs in the tech industry, even work for a big corporation isn't always guaranteed. The one thing that can make the idea of being a solopreneur a bit less intimidating is to equip yourself with the business knowledge and skills you need to look at yourself as a business, to know how to bring your unique talents and skills to market, connect with your ideal ecosystem of clients and partners, to ensure you're able to sustain your micro-enterprise over time. You're already aware of the knowledge and skills you have to offer. You know what unique talents and passions you can be valued for. Now you just have to figure out a way to use those things to get paid in a new way. This video is going to explore just that, the 7 steps of becoming a successful, revenue-generating solopreneur. Step 1 to becoming a solopreneur. Reflect on your ideal life. There is no one-size-fits-all model for how to live life. Each person has their own unique worldview that informs what they value and enjoy. The first step to becoming a solopreneur is figuring out what life you want to live, so you can build your micro-enterprise to support that specific lifestyle. Traditional businesses look at the market for an opportunity and then build an enterprise to capitalize on it. As a solopreneur, we take the inverse perspective. Instead of looking outwards to the market, we start by looking inwards to ourselves, and then build a business to support what success means for us. Once we know what lifestyle we're trying to create, and what skills we want to use to create it. Then we can look at the market to figure out how our unique skills and talents can be valued by others. The number one goal of being a solopreneur is to live an awesome life based on your definition of awesome. To figure out your ideal life, you can start by asking yourself some important questions to shape the way you build your business. Here are some things you can reflect on to get started. Pro tip: remove the word should from your vocabulary. Anytime the idea of what you should do comes up, notice it and reframe it with what you want to do. Where do you want to live? Do you want to travel and explore like a digital nomad, or do you want to stay in one home base? What type of amenities do you need to have available for you to be comfortable? How much money do you need? What does financial security look like to you? Ask yourself, what is the cost of living for where you want to live? How much money do you need to fund your ideal life? Include things like how much you want to eat out, or if you want to travel. Do you want to have enough money to get massages and go to fitness classes? What about your health care and insurance cost for this locality? Do you need a car? Consider whether you care about saving money right now. How do you want to spend your time? Does working in person with your clients light you up and bring you joy? Do you prefer to work from a computer? Perhaps a combination of both. What does an ideal workday look like to you? How much time do you want to spend working? The average digital nomad, for example, works 30 hours or less per week. Or would you prefer working a whole lot for a few months to save up money and then take a few months not working at all? Once you have an idea for how you want to live life to the fullest, then it's time to reflect on what you will do to fund that life. Step 2 to becoming a solopreneur. Identify the talents and skills you want to use to make money. I grew up in a family that didn't have financial security. In school, it was a priority for me to pursue a career that would provide that sense of financial security for me. In my case, that meant focusing on STEM fields, learning different languages, and ultimately working for the government. Learning about art or music were a luxury that I couldn't afford. Creativity in this way was never something that was accessible to me. Sure, I was encouraged to follow my interests, but like many people, I focused on the interests that would fit within a critical field or skill, not necessarily my passions. Flash forward 10 to 15 years, and I have regrets for not enjoying the arts and prioritizing the act of creative expression. In my professional career, I've always been fulfilled in my work because the path I chose contributed to the betterment of society. But I can't say I actually enjoyed my work all the time. I didn't wake up every day excited to do what it was that I did. I did my work more because I had to do it, not because I wanted to. Sound familiar? Now, 75% of the time I spend working doesn't actually feel like work. That tends to bring up a whole other layer of questions around what I'm supposed to be doing. Because there's this idea that work should feel like work. But what if it didn't? What if work meant spending time doing things you wanted to be doing, regardless of whether or not it paid the bills? I believe every single person in the world has unique talents and skills and passions that they enjoy doing and can also be financially valued for. The trick to building your ideal life as a solopreneur is to figure out how to use those passions to make money for yourself. As someone who has the attention span of a hummingbird, the coolest part about being a solopreneur for me is that I can literally do anything I want. I do not have to be pigeonholed into one specific job. Instead, I can use various passions and skills I have to generate money. When a business uses multiple pathways to make money, we call it a multi-revenue stream approach. Most businesses have multiple revenue streams, and so can your micro-enterprise. Perhaps you have a better attention span than I do, and you want to focus your micro-enterprise on a single core offering. You can still offer that work in multiple ways, creating multiple pathways to revenue. Here are some things to reflect on to help you start figuring out which of your talents and skills you want to turn into your key revenue generating activities. List the things you enjoy spending time doing. List the things you're trained to do or have professional experience in. List any unique qualifications such as being multilingual, skills or experience or certifications you possess. What activities allow you to zone out when you're doing them? Some people call this being in a flow state. When you're doing these activities, you lose track of time. Or maybe you get excited when you wake up in the morning and you remember that you get to do these things that day. For more support to turn your passions into revenue, head to the link in my bio to check out my free resources, including the free Solopreneur intro courses on my YouTube channel. Step 3 to becoming a solopreneur. Understand your industry. In the first 2 steps, we focused inward by identifying what type of lifestyle you wish to live and what activities you want to do to create income for yourself. Now it's time to start looking outwards to the industry you want to work in to see how you can offer the passions and skills you identified in step 2 to create value on the market that will fund the ideal life you defined in step 1. Understanding your industry has a few key purposes. For starters, you can get inspired by the market and what other people are doing to make money. You can begin to see yourself in this lifestyle and how you can offer your passions, talents, and skills to be valued for them. You can begin to conceptualize how much money you can realistically make from each activity, which will help you prioritize the activities that bring in the most money and the most joy, allowing you to focus your time and energy on the things that will give you the greatest bang for your buck. You can also begin to understand how your work is or isn't location specific, and start identifying the ecosystem of clients, partners, and supporters that you will work with. To understand your industry, you've got to experience it. There are 2 key things that you can do to start getting to know your industry. First is research. Google the industry you want to be a part of. Type your industry and industry research, or you can type your industry and market research. If your ideal life is location specific, research that industry and market specific to the geographic location you want to work in. Identify people already doing the work you want to do and analyze how they do it. Don't be competitive about it. Be inspired by it. Get on social media or Reddit to connect with people who are already in the industry you wish to be a part of. The second way to analyze your industry is to get out into the world. Experience your industry in real life. Take a class, book an appointment, join a Facebook group, get a certification. Reach out to someone already doing the work you want to do and ask for a chat or to take them to coffee. Learn more about how they got into the field and see if they have any advice or lessons that they learned along the way and can share with you. Join your local entrepreneurship community to connect with others to learn and grow together. If you're in the US, reach out to your local small business development center, head to a 1 Million Cups event, or go to score.org and find a mentor to work with. If you're in the global south, look for an entrepreneurship meetup or Facebook group. If there isn't one, consider organizing one. To gain more knowledge and skills to start your own micro enterprise and become a solopreneur, check out the resources on my website, YouTube channel, and my business ideation course by following the links in my bio. Step 4 to becoming a solopreneur. Define your key offering. Steps 1 and 2 were all about looking inward to reflect on what a successful and enjoyable life and work means to you. Step 3 was looking outward to get a better idea of the industry and market you'd like to be a part of. Now it's time to fuse the 2 by figuring out how exactly you can offer your talents, passions, and skills on that market to generate revenue or income for yourself by defining your key offerings. In step 2, you defined the talents and skills you want to use to make money. Now we need to turn those talents and skills into an actual offering or business activity. What your business will actually do. These business activities are called revenue-generating activities. They are your key offerings based on the talents and skills you possess that also bring you joy. Your key offerings are the products or services you will sell. It's how you translate your passions and skills into something tangible for your customers to purchase. When you were analyzing your industry in step 3, you likely saw a bunch of examples for products or services that other entrepreneurs are offering in that industry. Use those ideas as inspiration and reflect on the following. What products or services do you want to sell? When you analyzed your industry, what were you inspired by? Think back to step 1, how you want to spend your time and what products or services would bring you joy to create. Are there different ways you could offer the same core offering, such as in-person versus online, or one-on-one and in workshops, classes, or retreats? If you're a writer, what are the different types of writing you could do? Who are your ideal clients, and what would they want to purchase from you? If you want more support defining your key offerings, head to the link in my bio or the description below to check out the Business Ideation course to add more tools to your toolbox to support you at every stage of your entrepreneurial journey. Step 5 to becoming a solopreneur. Calculate your pricing. Once you've figured out what key offerings your business will provide, it's time to figure out the money side of things. In step 1, you reflected on how much money you will need to make to live your ideal life. In step 3, you learned about the industry you want to be a part of. Let's fuse those things together. Here are some questions to help you reflect on the pricing model that works best for you. How much will the materials cost? Do you need to contract any support services? Account for shipping or packaging costs? How much is your time worth to you? Going back to the research you did on your industry, how much money are other people charging for similar work to what you want to do? What type of budget does your ideal client have? How much money do you want to charge for each of your offerings? Based on that price, how much will you have to sell to make the money you want to make? Once you've answered these questions, reflect and adjust your pricing accordingly. Do you need to change your price so you only need to work the number of hours that you wish to work? Can your ideal client afford your price? Do you need any additional certifications or experience to be competitive on the market and competitively priced? Pricing your work can be one of the most difficult parts of the entrepreneurial journey. Many people struggle with valuing themselves appropriately. We tend to undervalue what we offer the world. If you want some more support, check out my financial planning and values-based pricing course, or book a one-on-one session with me to make sure you're valuing yourself with dignity and respect by developing a pricing model that you can stand behind that also works for your ideal client. Step 6 to becoming a solopreneur. Connect with your market. In the previous 5 steps, you figured out what life you want to live and how much it will cost, what work you want to do to fund that life, how much you'll charge for those offerings, and the industry you want to be a part of. The only thing left to do is to connect with that industry. There are 3 primary components of an industry: clients, competitors, partners, and supporters. These 3 components construct the ecosystem you will build to create a successful micro-enterprise. Obviously, your clients are the people who will pay you. Your competitors are the people you will learn from and be inspired by. They are also the people you will need to differentiate yourself from. Your partners and supporters are the people who will help you get your work in front of new people to recruit more clients and sustain your business over time. By analyzing these 3 components of your industry, you can start to figure out how you will market to that industry and do business development. Business development is all about connecting with other people to raise money and support for your micro-enterprise. BD, as it's also called, is your pathway for how you can get your offering to your ideal market of clients and supporters. Looking at each component of your industry, start to think about how you can connect with them. Here are some ideas to get your brainstorming started. What are some podcasts you could speak on? Influencers you could connect with? Advertisements you can make, digital or physical? Are there any workshops or markets or events that you could be a part of? Are there message boards or Facebook groups that you could join? What people and businesses in related industries could provide referrals? Follow me on social media at sustainable_venture for more tools and resources on how to start your own freelancing journey and become a solopreneur. Step 7 to becoming a solopreneur: live your best life. Being an entrepreneur can be hard work. It can also be stressful and overwhelming. If you let it, it can also be really freaking fun. It is incredibly liberating to live a life on your own terms. Try not to get so caught up in the business and analysis that you forget to enjoy your life. If you get stressed out, go back to steps 1 and 2 to remind yourself of what your ideal life is, what your passions are, and allow them to excite you, to motivate you, to inspire you, and to drive you. Most importantly, appreciate every day. Appreciate the beauty of the life you already have and the goals you are working towards. Appreciate the privilege you have to be empowered to provide for yourself and to be valued for that something special you have to offer the world. Gratitude is the real secret to living your best life. I understand that being an entrepreneur can be stressful and overwhelming. The idea of being responsible for how you make money without relying on a guaranteed paycheck from a company can actually be a bit terrifying. Having a plan in place to build your micro enterprise can alleviate a lot of that stress. If you want help making an actionable plan to bring your business idea to market and fund your best life ever, check out the Becoming a Solopreneur Complete Course Series on my website. In this series, I guide you through the process of turning your business from an idea into a revenue-generating startup. If you get stuck or feel lost, please reach out to me to book a one-on-one consulting session. I love supporting people to build their best life ever.